I'm going to talk about the truth about monologues. Now, to be honest, it's been many years since I met with an agent, casting director, or even a producer who asked me to do a monologue. But that doesn't mean that you don't need one. Actually, to tell you the truth, when I started, monologues were very popular. Casting people would sometimes ask you to do the lines, and then they would also ask you to do a monologue of your choice. Usually they'd say between 1 and 2 minutes. But that's kind of fallen out of favor. But don't let it shock you when someone does ask you for a monologue, because that means they're really interested in your talent. They want to see something, they want to see you perform something that you're completely comfortable with, that you choose as a character that you want to present to them. And most likely it's going to be from a casting director, or it's going to be from an agent who's considering representing you. Now, especially from an agent, they want to know that you can think on your feet, that you are ultimately prepared as an actor. All actors who are completely prepared should have 2 or 3 monologues, as they say, in their back pocket that they can pull out. I would say have a drama, a comedy, and then something of your choice, something dark, something, very humorous, something that you see yourself playing, something that you see yourself as your dream character. Have 2 or 3 monologues. Make sure you have them, because you never know when someone might ask you for one. To see you prepared at your utmost, to see how you would deliver lines if they cast you in the role and you had all the time you needed to learn those lines. How would you perform? What could you bring to the stage? What could you bring that maybe they're trying to decide between you and 2 other actors? What could you bring that the other actors couldn't? Something that's ultimately just you. So that's why I always say actors have some monologues prepared. They don't have to be long monologues. And then practice them. Keep them sharp. Practice them in the mirror to yourself whenever you think about it. Whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling, is this career for me? Should I just go out and get a regular job? I missed this audition, or I didn't get this role, or I didn't get that role, or you're just down because your acting career isn't going the way you want it to go. Monologues are something you can fall back on. Delivering a strong, powerful monologue can lift your spirits. It really does. It may sound like it's useless, or it may sound like it's waste of your time, but no. If you are really into acting and you want to be prepared at any moment to deliver a performance for someone who, is trying to decide if you have what it takes, having 1, 2, or 3 monologues ready to go is something that you always must be prepared to do. You don't need the perfect monologue. There's no such thing as a perfect monologue. But what you do need a monologue that's somehow connected to you. Something that reveals you as an actor, reveals you as a person, makes you unique. Because that's one thing I want you to know. I'm going to do videos on this. But you are the only one of you there is. And that's what you have to start believing if you want to succeed in this business. That will give you the confidence to find a monologue that is personal, that speaks to you, that says something to you. You need a monologue that you're connected to. Don't just go choose something, Death of a Salesman or whatever, anything, just because it's a monologue. You want something that you have some kind of personal connection with. Maybe it's something that you went through in your life. Maybe it's something that a friend went through. Maybe it's something that your mother or father went through and they told you about it. Something that's personally connected where you can deliver it believably, confidently, and you can show that emotional range you have. You want to have something too that has, like I said, a little bit of an emotional range. You don't want to be mono, all on one level. You want to deliver something that people can connect to. They can see that you're connected to this material, that you're invested in this material. So it's important. It's very important that you don't just grab any old monologue. In the opening, I was talking about having 1, 2, or 3 monologues. Just think of 2 if you want, but 2 monologues that you're personally connected to, that it can be something from your past. It can be something from a dream you had. It can be, like I said, it can be something from someone in your family that you know all the details about. You know the beginning, middle, and end. You won't probably show all that in the monologue, but if you are connected somehow to this story, it's going to show. because you're not just going to be delivering something monotone. You're not just going to be delivering something that's just, flat or just saying words. You have to say those words with conviction. You have to say those words with something behind them. So find a monologue that you're personally connected to. Memorizing the words isn't the end all be all for your monologue. You need to obviously memorize the words, but that's not it. You need to know the context of those words that you're saying. You need to know the meaning behind those words. You need to know the power and the reason that your character is choosing to say those words. Think of, when you're looking at the monologue and you're delivering the words, think of why he or she is saying what they're saying. That's the subtext. You can make that subtext up. You can take something from your real life and put it into the subtext of the monologue you're saying. But you have to have something behind those words, or your face will defeat you. Your face will betray you. If you don't have something behind those words, it's going to come out flat. It's going to come out just as you're just saying the words. Yes, I got all the lines and I memorized them and I'm saying each line correctly, but that's not going to deliver the impact that you want to have behind the words you're saying in the monologue that you chose to represent yourself as an actor or an actress. So have some kind of context behind those words. Have some kind of meaning behind those words. It doesn't have to be the meaning from the play. It doesn't have to be the meaning from that scene. You can take meaning from your personal life and inject it into the words that you're saying in the monologue that you chose. But again, you want to choose a monologue you're connected to, and you want to have meaning behind the words as you say them. Make it personal. Make it important, because this might be the only opportunity where you get to show who you really are. And you can't blow these opportunities. I've blown opportunities. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I've blown many opportunities, and sometimes they haunt me. I don't want you to do the same thing. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. That's why I'm making these videos, so that I can reveal to you secrets and information that I wish someone had told me when I was starting acting, as I was moving forward in acting, as I was having success in acting. There are many opportunities I blew because I didn't know the stuff that I know now. Stop trying to impress the casting director or the agent or the filmmaker. They want to see real emotion. They want to see the emotion that you have inside delivered through the words they gave you. So don't try to just impress them. Try to bring that emotion. Again, it doesn't have to be the emotion, the exact emotion that goes with that scene. Reveal something personal and connect their words to that. Listen closely, reveal something personal from inside yourself, but connect it to the words that they gave you. That's what they want to see. They want to see real emotion. They want to see the real you. They want to see something from you that makes them feel something, because that's what sells you to them. Can this person make me feel something? Because that's the only way their film or their television show is going to be good. It's going to be accepted and going to be watched week after week, is if the characters who have strong emotions to express or strong feelings to get over to the audience, can he or she make me feel something with the words that I've written? So that's what you have to do. That's what you have to think about. When I'm saying these words, I'm not just reciting them like if I'm reading the phone book or I'm reading the dictionary or an encyclopedia. You want to put feelings behind the words you're saying, the words that they gave you to audition with. And again, it doesn't have to be the feelings that the character has at the audition point, because they want to see you. They want to see the real you. They want to see why you will be compelling, why you will be an interesting character for the audience to come back week after week and watch. That's what they want to see. Can you make them feel something? That's what you have to do. Shorter is usually better. Now, honestly, this is a hard one for me. As an actor, I love to have long scenes where I have big blocks of dialogue. But when you're doing a monologue or you're doing an audition scene, a monologue, shorter is usually better. They want to see something interesting. And if it's 1 minute, great. If it's 1.5 minutes, great. Shorter, honestly, is usually better because if you can convince them quickly, if you can grab their attention and you can hold it, if you can leave them wanting more, that's more powerful than going on for 3 or 5 minutes where at first they get bored and then they lose interest. They start thinking about something else. If you can catch them right as you start talking and grab them and pull them into what you're saying, that's powerful. That's very powerful. That's what you want to try to do in the audition. You want to definitely do that with your monologue. You want to start with what's interesting, what grabs them and pulls them in. You want to cut the fat. You want them to hold on your every word. And if it's short, if it's 1 minute and you finish quickly, you want to leave them wanting more. Some actors, and mostly a lot of times actresses, they always think they have to show the tears. You don't have to. You don't have to in the monologue. Sometimes the emotion that leads up to the tears is more powerful than the tears themselves. The tears are sometimes the release, but you don't have to always show the tears. If they ask you to show the tears and you can do that, then do it. That's a great skill to have. That's a great skill to rehearse on whenever you need to, because sometimes they'll ask for an actress or even an actor, can you cry on cue? And if you can, beautiful. But you don't have to cry in every scene that you do. The snot running, tears running, you don't be covering up. You don't have to be covering up your face and that kind of thing. You don't have to cry every time. You want to show the emotion. You want to show the feelings behind the tears. That's what's even more interesting. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's how you react to what someone has said to you. Sometimes when you're in a scene, the most powerful part of the scene is not the person speaking. It's how the person listening is reacting. So you want to be able to do that too. If you're in a scene and it's a scene for an audition, make sure you're really listening. Make sure you're really reacting. I'm not saying go overboard, but make sure you're really reacting to what's being said to you. If someone's putting you down, if someone's degrading you, if someone's speaking kindly to you, you want to react. Reactions are important too. So remember, you don't always have to cry. Many actors pick the wrong material. They pick scenes. They're 20 years old and they pick scenes for a 60-year-old, or they're 60 years old and they pick a teenager role. Make sure your role in the monologue suits your age. Make sure it's something that you can deliver confidently, something that you really connect to. Something that you connect to should be a fitting for your age or your type. So don't pick the wrong material. Don't try to do a phony accent that you haven't mastered. Pick material that fits your character as an everyday life. Because honestly, when the casting person sees you, if they're trying to decide whether they want to cast you as a mailman, they want you to look like a mailman when you walk through that door. If they're trying to cast you as the big burly biker, that's how they want you to look when you walk through that door. If they're trying to cast you as the young mom, that's how they want you to look. If they're trying to cast you as the grandmother or the grandfather, that's how they want you to look. That's how they want you to speak. And that's how they want you to act. So don't pick the wrong material. Don't think you can play anything because Hollywood has CG and they have all kinds of fancy makeup. No, don't think that. There's a lot of famous actors who think they can play any role, and they can't. They can't. You, as a viewer, I know you've seen actors that you admire, actors that you like, take the wrong role. That they just don't fit, that they just can't play that kind of character. It's not believable. And you definitely, as a new actor, don't want to make that mistake with your monologues by picking a monologue that does not fit your age, your type, your character. Don't be afraid of being typecast at the beginning. Do not fear that. If you want to work in this business, you're going to be typecast at the beginning. When they look at you, they're going to say, oh, he looks like a lawyer. Oh, he looks like a police officer. Most of the roles I play are police officers, lawyers, doctors, the older father, the school principal, the teacher, the college professor, all the kind of roles that I look like. That's what I play. I'm a character actor. I don't get asked to, me at my age to play the teen gang member or to play the, long-haired biker. I mean, they can put a wig on me. They can put the leather jacket on me. I would not fit that. You need to pick a monologue that fits who you are right now at this point in your life, because that's how you're going to get cast when you're starting out. You have to be realistic. You might have the dreams of playing, a historical figure where they put a phony nose on you and high cheekbones and all this kind of stuff. But no, pick a monologue that fits who you really are at this moment. The first 10 seconds of your monologue matters most. It needs to come out strong. It needs to come out believable. When I say come out strong, it doesn't mean you have to yell. It doesn't mean you have to scream. It doesn't mean you have to grunt or whatever to show your anger. It needs to be believable. It needs to be grounded in reality. Most monologues are normal day speech, and sometimes that even makes it harder to come out strong. But you need to really consider how the monologue starts, because those first 10 seconds are critical. You have to grab their attention and hold them. But grabbing their attention doesn't mean always raising your voice or screaming or yelling or starting out, with a bunch of profanity. You want to be real. You want to be grounded. You want to be something that's compelling. You want to make them want to look at you. You make them want to hear what you're going to say. You want them to listen to where you're going, and you want them to stay with you for the ride. If it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, the first 10 seconds are the most important. Practice your monologue like it's a scene, even if it's not a scene, because the other character is not there with you. We don't hear the other character. You could add a few words or two to the beginning, possibly to make it more as if it's part of a conversation. You could add something like, I know where you're coming from. And then go into your monologue. Yes, I understand. And then go into your monologue. Think of how you can make this monologue, make it your own, but how can I make this monologue as if it's part of a conversation? Don't give it as a speech. Don't give it as a lecture. Even if it is a lecture, break it up some, take some pauses, find places where you can think for a second about what you want to say, how you can stress points, how you can go up and down. You want to have some kind of levels. You want to make this more of a conversation, even though the viewer can't see the other person. They need to know that you are talking to someone. They don't want to think, you don't want them to think that you're talking in the mirror, or you're rehearsing something, or you're giving a speech to a classroom, unless that's what the scene is. But you want to make your monologue a conversation. You want to make them want to continue to listen to what you have to say because it's compelling. You want to be compelling. You want to capture their attention and pull them in so they will look at you and want to know more. Original monologues are sometimes risky, unless it's a brilliant piece or it's something that's completely original. If it's something that's from your life, it's something that maybe you really did say these words to somebody, but it is risky. You don't want to do something. On the other hand, something that's been done 1,000 times, you don't want to do a monologue that's too popular because they've seen it 1,000 times. There's been 28,000 actors who've done this monologue for them. And most of the time, if it's something that's from a popular movie, you want to avoid that also, because the first thing that's going to pop into their mind is they're comparing you to the A-list actor. And you don't want that. That drags you down right away. You want to do something that's connected to you, but you don't want to do something that's going to make them start thinking about another actor. Oh, how did Pacino do this role? You can't handle the truth. You don't want to do something that's so recognizable that Tom Cruise is going to pop in their mind just as you start saying the words. And, oh, he's not as good as Tom. Of course he's not. Of course he's not as good as Al Pacino, but you don't want them to start thinking about Al Pacino while they're looking at your monologue. So don't take a scene from Casino with Joe Pesci. You don't want to do that. You want to have a monologue that makes them listen to you, think about you. You don't want them to think about the film that it came from. And the whole time you're delivering it, they're just trying to say, where did I see this before? Where did I see it? They're not looking at you anymore, But original monologues can also be risky, if it's not good. You don't want them to start thinking about, what is this scene from? If it's too weird or it's too strange or it's too, abstract, you want to pick something that's powerful, but it's not from something that's very widely known. So it takes time. It takes research. It takes thinking. But again, you want to be connected to that piece. But you don't want that piece to overshine you. You don't want that piece to be you're reciting the national anthem. You want it to be something that is basically unrecognizable, but still powerful. So it's not easy. It takes work. It takes, research and finding something that fits you, but something that doesn't overshine you or draw the attention away from you. And remember, this is not Broadway. You're not trying to put on a big glitzy show. You want to show who you are. You want to showcase yourself. At this stage, that's what you want them to see. How is this person compelling? Why should this person be in my film? Why should I represent this person and send him out to casting for roles? Is this person interesting? So that's where you want to make sure your piece highlights you and shows the best of you. That's another subject I'm going to talk about in other videos, that you have to accept that your auditions, your monologues, your readings, they're showing, you're trying to do is show the best of you. What do I have to offer that no other actor has? And that's your unique character and your way of saying lines, your way of delivering written word so that the viewer connects with you. The viewer connects with you. He or she can see a character that's worthy of being in a film or in a television show. So you must accept who you are and be willing to show that to the casting director, willing to show that to the producer, willing to show that to the agent, the manager, the director. Reveal who you are, what makes you unique, what makes you interesting. Show the best of you. Those are words. The best of you is a title of a book written by a great teacher that I admire, who teaches and used to teach audition classes. But the best of you, that's the key. That's the key. That's what you have to realize. And as actors and actresses, get that into your head. This is what I'm showing. I'm showing them me. I'm not trying, especially at the audition stage. You don't know what they want. And to be honest, I'm a director. I'm a producer. I've been on the other side of the table casting. And most of the time, we don't know what we want until we see it. We don't know what actor we want. We want you to be good so that we can stop looking. We don't know exactly what we want. It's frustrating as an actor. It really is. When I see breakdowns and they come out and they ask for, they got this new term where they include all kind of races lumped together for character roles. I'm a character actor, so I go out all the time for character roles. And the most frustrating thing is when they don't know whether they want a man, a woman, a white man, a black man, an Asian man, or what. They don't have any idea what they want. They even came out with a term for that. I can't remember what it is, BDC, something like that. But it's frustrating. But that lets you know the only thing you can do as an actor when you're new and you're just starting out, you have to show who you are. The best of your character, the best of your ability, your talent, of what you have to offer. If they cast you in this role, this is who you're going to get. This is what I bring to the table. This is what I will bring to you and why you want me in your project. So remember, this is not Broadway. You're not trying to put on a big glitzy show with hair and makeup and things exploding behind you and special effects and music. You're there in this monologue. You're there in this audition, this monologue audition, to show what you have to offer. And that's what you have to deliver. Each and every time you do an audition, you want to show the best of you. That's what you have to offer to these casting people. And if they don't want it, then, don't feel bad about it, because the truth is they don't know what they want until they see it. They do not know what they want until they see it. So all you can do is show them what you have to offer. Show them the goods. Show them the best of you. I'll see you in the next one.